Where'd you go,
So
intro?
why are you doing both channels tonight?
I
Just for the heck of it?
Well, hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? It's a brand new Painfully Honest Tech Show.
Remember that one?
I do remember that one. That was a good. I like it.
Cucumber.
Yes. So here we are. It's been at least a month. I mean, it might be more. I'm not sure.
It's been a while.
I've been on hiatus for various reasons, which we'll get into a little bit here later on this evening, or earlier this evening if we feel like getting into it. There's all kinds of crazy. Well, okay,
Crazy?
Not crazy, I guess. There's nothing crazy going on right now.
Did you read Twitter last week? I think it's still ongoing. People are upset about 4K 60. Oh my god!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you read Did you read this stuff? Did you read it?
I did. I tried not to. You buy a $400 phone, $350 phone, and you're bitching about 4K 360. Shut the fuck up.
There goes the monetization. Oh my goodness!
I didn't turn it on for this. So
everybody, the super chats.
Oh,
Yeah, super chats are open.
Super chats are open. That's the only way we're making money tonight, baby.
Oh wow! I've never seen $1 from you.
But I don't even see it.
I'm just saying.
I'll send you $1. It's worth about 70 cents.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's worth about 70 of those Canadian cents. No, it's I was trying not to. Well, I guess I did have something to say about the Pixel release, but it wasn't necessarily about the device itself.
Are you using a new mic?
No, this is the pod mic from Rode.
By the way, I like your new setup. It's a shame that you could probably change it, but I like the setup. It makes you look a little bit smarter.
I know. I got tired of everybody telling me how stupid I was.
No. Here's the thing about okay. So we're gonna so the title of the this thing is so fucked right now. The title of the stream is Samsung wristed all unfolds, Pixel ascends, Dolby Atmos audio, and where have I been? So, we can talk about I guess we could talk about the Pixel release in general. I haven't really talked about it much at all because I wasn't sent one. No big deal.
Neither was I. I mean,
I understand the different side. I talked to Viper about this the other night. I understand like the different sides. Like there's the oh my gosh, it doesn't, it overheats. But then there's the other side of, like you said, so what is a so odd dollar thing? But at the same time, it's a feature that's in there. And then there's the side of people accusing other people. Well, you're not complaining because you were sent it. And then there's people straight up that were sent the device that are complaining and are pointing out. And then there are plenty of people that have not had the issue. So it seems to be very intermittent. And there's a lot of, here's the thing. I think the discussions, I think the people pointing it out, doing the tests and everything, this and that, I think it's good. I mean, obviously Google wants to know what's going on. But when you start diving into the name calling, insinuating, calling people beta, whatever the heck it is, and you know who I'm talking about. Like the conversation's over. I'm done.
I missed that. You're gonna have to fill me in because
I'm not naming names, big dog, or anything like that. I'm just saying that there was plenty of it. It was pretty disgusting.
Oh, jeez. So here's okay. You remember the Sony Alpha A6300, A60? Well, you have the A6500, right?
Yeah. This is the A6500 right here. This guy right here.
So remember how much did that camera cost? Like
lots.
Yeah, like $1,900 when it was new.
Yeah, it was like I paid like 2,000 Canadian or something like that, but it came with a lens and not even the lens I'm using right now. But anyway, yeah, like I've had this camera for probably over 4 years now.
Yeah. What was the biggest thing that people complained about with that camera?
I think the flip out screen.
Well, the flip out screen. Well, but it would overheat.
Okay, yeah.
4K, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't record for more than 20 minutes without it like overheating, and people were like, "Oh, you have to open the battery door, and you have to like."
And for the record, I've only actually had that happen 3 times, and it was 4K streaming, and it was like after an hour and a half or something like that. It was ridiculous. But now it's set to 1080p because that's the max here and everything like that, and it's fine for streaming. And yeah, I have the battery door on it and everything like that, but I've only had it happen like 3 times. But then there was a software update push,
Yeah.
and you're good to go. You're good to go. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I had the 6400 and I never had any problems with it. But my biggest issue. Well, see, this I'm bringing this up to point out the fact that you bought a $2,000 camera that overheated when using it in 4K, right? And this was just a couple of years ago, right? Not that long ago. The A6600 just came out last year, so this was the current camera up until then.
Yeah.
There are nimrods on Twitter who are losing their minds over a $350, $400 smartphone, a mid-range smartphone that overheats when doing 4K 60, right? So if my math is correct, that thing costs like 1/4 or less of what your camera cost. People are spoiled. People are spoiled. People have nothing better to do. People need to get a life.
I think one of the best comments I saw was just kind of like I can't remember who said it. I think several people said this, is the fact that you can have something that small, even though it's like I think it's 6.4 inches, whatever the size is, in your pocket that can do that, right? Like I record, when I record stuff with my iPhone, I typically do 4K 60 so I can slow it down, unless I know like it's a talking head or something like that, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one way to kind of like, I don't want to say defend, but like another way to counter it. But I do also see the point of, you know, it's advertised and it's showing in the specs. It should be able to do that. So the thing is, not everybody's having the same issue, and there's so many different factors. Like, is the camera moving? Are you using stabilization? Are you not using the stabilization? I heard some people talk about that. If you turn off the stabilization, it's not as bad. Are you in a hot environment? Was the car inside, outside? Were you sleeping with it? Like what? You know, like
it's a smartphone camera. It's a smartphone camera. Now, smartphone cameras are really darn good. I was looking back through, you know how like Google, if you signed up for Google to send you memories, they like put together like this day, the past 16 years or whatever it is. I was looking at iPhone 4, like an iPhone 4 image that I took from whenever the iPhone 4 was out. And I was like, on one hand, that looks like ass. On the other hand, for the time, it was amazing, right?
Yeah.
So like the fact that people were complaining about 4K on a $400 camera, $400 phone, I don't know.
Digital Slang makes a good point. It's also advertised as the sport. The phone will heat up if you shoot HD video, and I think I've seen that. Obviously, I've seen that on my iPhone stuff. I've seen it with all my Samsung stuff. It's very, it's very, very obvious, right? So.
Yeah, and I mean, it may be a feature that's advertised. It may be something that they say it can do, but I think you have to meter your expectations to the arena in which you are playing, right? If you want a camera that's going to do 4K 60 frames forever, then spend $1,000 on an iPhone. If you don't, if that doesn't matter to you all that much and you want to have the Pixel 5a, then buy the Pixel 5a and stop complaining.
And and I guess another way to kind of look at it as well, like I think the default when you first turn on the device, like when you buy it, it'll be 1080p 30, which is what most people will record at. So you have to actually go in there and know what that is. Again, it's about the market they're catering to. The fact that it can do that. Again, I'm not making apologies or defending Google or anything like that. Again, I understand both sides. I take issue with how nasty it got. And of course, you can say whatever you want and everything. But when you start diving in, like I said, the name calling and the insinuating and just the stupid, like the crap, like acting like a child, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about like 20, 30, 40-year-old men here. And it was all men that are acting like this on Twitter, tough guys behind keyboards. Like I'm done with the conversation. By the way, you know what? We should say, a lot of people have said thanks for coming back. So we should maybe say hello to the people in the chat if you want to do some highlighting in there.
Well, I just wanted to point out Genosis's comment that his iPhone 11 Pro Max whatever would overheat in direct sunlight last year. It's just I think it's a combination of people's noses buried in their navels and not very much to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what has led us to this moment where
When there's a tech drought, yeah.
yeah, it's like suddenly people are like, taking 4K 60 frames on a $400 Pixel phone to the mattresses. It's like I this is why, and it was interesting for me because I was on a break, but of course I was still like checking things out. I was not doom scrolling the Twitter as
You removed Twitter from your phones, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, that always feels good.
I still have it on my iPad,
Okay.
but I took it
That's
off
okay.
of my phone. I took it off of my phone, and then I just kept a tab open on my on my browser. So it didn't really make that big a difference, but it did like take the icon out of my face, and I took YouTube Creator Studio off of everything as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for anybody who does YouTube, I'm going to recommend doing the same thing. Take the YouTube Creator Studio or YouTube Studio or whatever they call the app now. Take it off your mobile devices. It doesn't give you all the information that the regular Creator Studio on the browser gives you. So it's not if you're using it to make decisions about your channel, you're not really learning everything you need to learn. It's not all available. It's not there, right? B, if you have that thing staring at you, it will drive you insane. It will drive you absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I took it off everything, and even though I'm like making my way back now, I am not putting it back on my mobile devices at all.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Because
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, like I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not a tool to be used, in a micro way, right?
Yeah, I like using it for, like, I don't really look at the analytics. I use it for answering comments, but I also get the regular YouTube notifications for comments. So I guess in a way I could remove it and just do like I do every day, like an hour looking at my analytics and away we go kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I just basically, I had developed like really, really negative.
R makes a comment here. Hot take. No one cares.
No one cares about YouTube Creator Studio, or no one cares about
4K 60.
Yeah, no one cares. It's true. But you're right. We should recognize the folks who are here, folks who have joined us before, so folks who are joining us now.
By the way, everybody, we're on the regular Painfully Honest Tech channel on YouTube, the Painfully Honest live channel. You said Facebook and Twitter as well. So
as well as Twitch as well.
Oh my gosh, Twitch. So if you want to do, I was about to say Zach. If you want to do Jason a solid, sorry, dude. Go watch on the Painfully Honest live channel so you can get those minutes up there for the 4,000 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the watch hours. Also subscribe to that channel so we can get going there, because I came back to the main channel here this time because hadn't streamed in a while, and I figured, well, hadn't streamed in a while, so I don't want to confuse people about remembering to go to the live channel. So I came here.
Mm-hmm.
But we got Genosis, we got Shelly is here. She's on all platforms saying hello.
Hello. I can't. Can you see which platforms they're on? Because all I see is like YouTube.
Yeah. Shelly was on Twitch before.
Okay.
And now she's on YouTube.
I know
it doesn't say which YouTube channel.
I can't scroll the comments on here like you can on other things. Well, we're on Restream. Okay.
Yes, we are. Yes. Hey, we got Khalil in the house. We got Sea Lions, man. Alan is here. I feel like I haven't seen Alan for a while. Digital Slang. William's here. Who else do we got in here?
I saw lots of familiar names.
Franklin. Yeah, we got a lot of people here. So yeah, I mean, that's the Pixel thing is whatever. Oh, there's my mom. My mom on Facebook. Right there she is. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. I mean, hi, Jason's mom. Do you talk to me?
Yeah.
Do you talk to her about me?
No.
Okay. Was she here for the swearing? By the way, Mama Lewis. Jason was swearing earlier.
I was. It's okay.
It was.
Yeah. I'm not monetized for this stream, so I can do whatever I want.
Well, you f-bombed like the first 10 seconds, so like.
Well, I got to tell you, man. I mean, the Google Pixel 5, all the nerdiness, all the nerd fighting, is really annoying. You know what? That's what we need to do. We need to create a series called Nerd Fights. And whenever people get into it on Twitter or in comments or whatever, then we invite them on a live stream and make them fight it out.
Go face to face, because right now they're just going at each other on Twitter. Let's see if they actually have the courage to come on here.
Nerd fights.
Remember the clip I did for you? It's so thick. See.
Yeah, nerd fighting. Yeah, it's. But one last thing I wanted to say about the 4K video, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I think, last year, if not this year. I can't exactly remember. But anyway, Samsung had a 10-minute cap on 4K recording, period.
4K 30 or all of them?
I think it was 4K 30. It was 4K anything for the longest time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember trying to use a Note phone as like a B-roll camera for a video that I was doing, and I forgot that it had the time limit, and I ended up only getting like half a video's worth of B-roll, which was really frustrating.
R makes a good point here. For the price of the Pixel 5a, you can get a fairly new OnePlus 7 Pro G cam and they're very hard to beat the specs for the current spec 4K 60 all day AMOLED, etc. So very good point. Absolutely, I think most nerds or people that kind of care about this stuff would probably look that direction or something else. However, the Pixel 5a is not for us. It's not for you and I, Jason. It's probably not for the majority of the people in the comment, unless they're price sensitive. That the Pixel 5a brings the best of Google and a nice tight package there that is going to not hit the pocketbooks for most people. And I think it does a very good job of that, based on the specs that I've seen, based on some of the reviews and some of the hot takes and unboxings and this and that. Some of the pictures I've seen, the camera is awesome as usual. So. Yeah, I mean, very good point. Very, very good point. Yeah, casual use. If you want to call them casual users, everyday users, whatever. Or just, the only thing that ticks me off about this year, I don't want to say tick off. It's just a shame. It's unfortunate, but obviously Google has to look at the markets and whatnot. And obviously, with part shortages and things like that are going on in the world right now. U.S. and Japan only. I can't even order here in Canada. Like it's not on the Google store here. So if I want to get it here, I have to call you up and have you ship it up here. And of course, shipping electronics and anything with a battery costs an arm and a leg. And of course, that conversion to Canadian, even the conversion to Canadian, is still very well priced. I know a lot of guys and gals that run Bell, Telus, Rogers stores, those three major carriers up here, right? Yeah, that did really, really, really well with the 4A and the 4A 5G last year, and they were really hoping to have affordable, really well priced Pixel. So I guess we'll see what happens with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro.
We all are aware of how underwhelmed I've been by Pixel phones in general. There's always been something wrong, but I have to say I am somewhat excited about the 5A to a certain extent, but the 6 for sure. I think it's the best looking phone that I've seen from
I like the
Google.
look of it. I like that chunky industrial look. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not pink, it's not chartreuse, it's not, whatever. It's a very classy design. They seem to be taking it seriously this year. From everything that I've heard, it doesn't seem like there's that one feature that they've left out where everybody's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Google's already said that it will come with a price tag. It will be upper end specs and everything like that. One thing they keep on hinting at, and everybody keeps on speculating. I think there's a lot to this, that we're going to see a vast improvement with video. It's not to say the past Pixel device videos have been bad, but the pictures have always been like right up there, and then video is kind of like, it's not bad. I don't want to say bad, but it always could have been a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with video.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when you have a camera that's as good as the stills camera is for a Pixel, to then have the video fall flat is a little bit more frustrating than it would be if it was just the mediocre camera all around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Did you see Janos's comment? Did you see what our boys at Nomad dropped today?
No, I haven't seen it.
Where's the share screen? I can never find it. Where is it?
It is down at the bottom. It's the one with the red line through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's been a while. Check this out. They showed this today. So they are doing a skin Horween leather.
Ooh,
Look at that. Look how gorgeous that is.
that is nice.
Look at the edging here. Like I don't know if you can get that any bigger, but oh my goodness. Like I'm a minimalist, you know me with my my thin cases and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I talked to our boy today at Nomad. I'm like, do you want to do some older devices like my 11 Pro Max? He's like, no. We're going forward. We're going 12 and forward. Yeah. Look at that.
That is sweet for sure.
That is entering D brand territory, but I don't care.
The thing is, like, I was hard. I thought D brand was pretty stupid for like the longest time, but after a while, D brand sort of stopped doing as much of the dragon scale, the blah blah, all that kind of silly.
I like
D
brand skin,
and they've become much. Or at least have much classier options, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah. I've become a more D brand friendly, but D brand has not done actual leather skin.
They've done like faux leathers, but this is like actual Horween leather.
So that's pretty hot.
It's gonna have that smell to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got their mouse. Yeah. I've got their mouse pad right here. Right. Yeah. This is it right here.
So the nice thing about that, the brown there, if it's like the Apple cases, the leather cases, the saddle brown Apple leather cases, always like they look really ugly and orange when you first get them, but either through wear or there are some ways to like speed up the process. They end up looking really nice. The patina is really sweet.
So. They have both the black and the brown. So if you don't like the brown, they have it in black. And
black is black. I wear black on the outside of my iPhone because black is how I feel on the inside. See? But
hey, speaking of black phones, check it out.
Ooh.
Samsung sent me media review unit, their A52 5G and a Tab A7 Lite. So there's a regular Tab A7. This is the Lite. And I was playing some like Call of Duty today on here, and it ran like butter. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Like butter.
You can get this. You can get this for the trade-in right now for $100.
Wow.
Any trade-in.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And this one down to $300 with any trade-in.
See, in the 7-inch, the 7-inch is a nice size.
This is 8.7.
Okay.
Yeah, 8.7. Yeah.
But still, that's okay. So regular iPad is 10.9. Right?
Yeah, I think the Lite is, is that what they call it? The Lite?
Where there's the iPad Air. And then there's the iPad Air and then there's the Pros. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that the regular iPad and maybe also the iPad Air both are 10.9. Nice. And they, of course, the iPad Mini still exists, but it's more expensive than the base iPad. So why would you buy it?
Yeah.
But I like that size a lot.
It's like I have big hands, and so I could just hold it comfortably.
Yeah.
Never mind the fingerprints and everything. But it's been a lot of fun. I was really surprised I was able to run like Call of Duty. My kids were playing Angry Birds on it. There's a couple of racing games that take forever to load up, so it does have some limitations here and there.
Yeah.
Movie watching has been great and everything. So,
well, that's the thing about the tablets for me. As somebody who reads on, I still use a Kindle.
Yep.
And I also read on my iPad Pro 12.9, but that's an unwieldy device to take to bed with you.
Mm-hmm.
12.9 is just a little bit too big to take to bed. But
we're still talking about tablets, right?
Yes, of course we are.
Okay.
So, the 10.2. Thank you, Bob. Oh, Bob, it's good to see Bob. I hadn't seen Bob yet.
Is that today. Bob Grimes? Bob Grimes in the house.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I've always liked that smaller size. So I'm glad that Samsung is doing that. Although, I mean, here's the question for the ages, and it kind of goes into ours question here.
Mhm.
Uh, Chrome OS tablets, are they the future? Is there a future for any tablet that's not an iPad?
Okay, so I was on Viper stream on Sunday, and he asked me like, "What's the best tablet?" And I said an iPad. Like, what's the best Android tablet? I said an iPad,
Right,
right? But I'm gonna kind of take that back after this today. Like, obviously, it's hard to like you can't put this against like an iPad Pro, for example,
right,
right?
right,
You have to. I mean, if you're gonna spend $100 on a tablet, or in this case, $199 is regular price, and then of course you trade in and get $100.
right,
That's the current pricing right now. I mean, you have to have certain expectations, right? Like
right. Yeah,
and you have to look at the processor and this and that. Like anybody that buys $100 tablet or even less, like I think there's like even Fire tablets out there for $50. I could be wrong.
yeah,
Like you gotta have
there are.
there's expectations, right?
Yes,
Um, I think when it comes to productivity and like if you're doing thumbnails and you're streaming and you're editing YouTube videos and this and that, you probably want to look like an iPad Pro or an upper end, Android tablet if you like that ecosystem.
right.
Um, there's a place for all this kind of stuff, right? So it's not like I know that in the tech community, we tend to get kind of hung up on flagship, 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 flagship.
Yeah,
There's a lot of really great stuff out there that is decently priced that does a really great job. This A52 is a complete preview of
yeah,
what an S20 FE update could be. So if there's an
right.
S21 FE this year, which I'm 99% sure there will be, and no, I don't have any insider information. Um, this is total preview, right? Total preview.
Yeah.
Everything from the build and everything. It's just amazing.
Well, I mean, looking at it, just I'm not seeing it on the big screen or anything, but looking at it, it does look like an S21.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
got a matte finish on the back. You guys get 4 different colors in the United States. 6.7 inch. It's a 120 hertz. A panel
yeah,
there. You've got a 64 megapixel main shooter, a 12 megapixel wide, a 5 and a 5 micro, and depth sensor.
yeah,
And I've taken some really great pictures or anything like that. With and without stabilization. The fingerprint sensor it's an optical. It's a little slow. But actually, I find the face unlock. I don't know if you guys is going to see it here. Yeah, I find the face unlock a little bit better. Let me do that again here.
yeah. The underscreen fingerprint reader on the S21 Ultra was the first under the screen fingerprint reader that I actually used the whole time I had the device.
I think they made it on the Ultra. I think they made the sensor area bigger.
Yeah,
So I know that there's a lot of people that had that. And if you scan both fingers multiple
right.
times, it makes a big difference too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that a mid-range phone has a 120 hertz panel is pretty amazing. Which,
By the way, expandable storage up to 1 terabyte. Comes with
ooh,
128 or 256, and then you can put 1 terabyte SD in here.
I mean,
That's a huge one for a lot of people.
that's
That's
such a backhanded, fu to all the customers who spent $1,300 on like the S21 Ultra.
and then you got a headphone jack. Headphone jack.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the quality of that headphone jack? I don't know, but I'm glad to see it. I'm
Yeah.
glad to see it. But the thing is, like, you're spending the big bucks on the S21, right? S21 Ultra, whichever one you bought, and you get no expandable storage, and then Samsung says, "Oh, here's what is that phone? $500 or
This one's $499.
yeah,
But if you trade in like pretty much anything, you get down to like 300. Don't
yeah."
quote me on that. I'm gonna double check while you keep on talking.
So here's like a $500 MSRP phone with the feature that the people who are spending all the money on the flagships love and want to have. And Samsung's like, we're going to put it in here. Screw you, people. And
I
then,
don't. I've never fully understood that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's still. I don't understand how. But maybe I guess maybe the stats and everything show Samsung and Apple, etc. That people that are buying these higher end don't necessarily want that, and they can put other things in there. That's the only way I can really think about it. That's the only
I don't know. At the same time, like, Michael Corcoran is asking about DeX, and I haven't followed the availability of decks on these newer devices, but I think I remember somebody saying
I don't
that
believe it's on there. I don't believe it's on that because I don't see it on the feature list here.
yeah, and
So
it's not going to be on the Flip or the Fold either, right? Or am I wrong? Because I feel
I
like I
I
read that in the comments of my video from a couple of weeks ago, but
I
I haven't double checked it.
so this right here, A52 5G
Yeah.
is regular $499, but with a trade in $299. So you get from 500 down to 300. Now that's a competitor right there for this is a direct competitor for the 5A,
Mm-hmm.
and it came out earlier this year. It actually came out in March this year.
Right. Right.
And you guys have a selection of colors as well in the United States. You guys have 4 different colors to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the I got from Amazon last year the previous one, um, the previous $500 phone, and it was a nice phone. And that
hmm
one looks, I mean, just looking at it, that one looks like it's a better put together phone than the one
It's
from last year.
it feels very solid. Like the first thing I noticed about it when I so they literally shipped it to me like this, wrapped up in because it's a review unit. They wrapped up in
Right.
like bubble wrap. And thanks again, Sammy, for sending it out. I appreciate it. But the first thing I noticed as soon as I unwrapped it is like, man, this thing feels solid. So you got glass front, plastic back, but it's got some sort of coating on it, so it's like a matte finish.
Right.
And it feels cool like metal, but it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you got metal railings here. I think they're aluminum. Those are the only glossy parts. But I've said this forever, Jason. Matte finish all the things. Like seriously,
No, I agree totally.
that
Like,
almost matte like the finish on a phone is almost a huge deciding factor for me nowadays.
well, I have to say that the S21 Ultra, with the glass that it had and the matte finish, as well
Mhm.
as the rails on the side of it, were beastly. I mean, they've gone away from the really narrow rails. They've gone back to flat screens. And whereas I was always afraid to carry a Samsung phone out of doors without a case
Mhm.
because the glass was always so shiny and it felt so brittle, and there was just so little surface area on the edges to keep it from hitting and breaking, that I was. But the S21 Ultra, like I would carry that around without a case,
Yeah.
without really worrying about anything. And I did
Mhm.
drop it on concrete, got a couple of little nicks on the corner, but
Ouch.
the metal was strong enough that it didn't really do too much damage. No damage to the glass whatsoever. It was it was a really good phone. And I have to say, even though iPhone ends up being more convenient for me just because of the way that everything else in my life works, um, I miss the S21 Ultra. But Zach, I have well, I'm not getting it as soon as I should have, but I am
Mhm.
getting the Galaxy Z Fold 3.
Okay, so like, okay, so as per the title of tonight's stream,
Yes.
Samsung risks it all on folds. So we know there's not going to be a Note this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully we see that come back early next year. Obviously, I think Samsung's making the right moves, especially if we see an S20 FE upgrade this year, like an S21 FE, and which I think we will because that was a great market disruptor last year. But going back to the foldables and everything, if you look at the specs from last year's Fold 2 and Flip 2, or I guess they called it Flip
The flip.
5G. They didn't actually call it 2. They call it 5G. It was Flip
Why
5G.
is it the Z Flip 3? There's only been one flip.
Well, no, there was a Z Flip, then there was a Z Flip 5G, which was technically the 2, and then this is the
Oh,
third. This is the third. So
that's cheating.
there was no official 2, but it was called Flip 5G. Anyway,
That's cheating. That's cheating.
So hear me out. When you take the specs of both, so last year's generation and this generation, there's really not a lot different under the hood. Notable exceptions are the waterproofing, the IPX7 rating, or
Right.
is it Is it
It's
X8 or
eight.
X7?
It's
Is it 8?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, excuse me, X8 rating. So in other words, no dust, water, you're good to go. Like I watched a Verge video today. The guy put it in a thing and filled it up. It was awesome.
That would scare the shit out
There,
of me.
there was that. Obviously, the under display screen camera, little things
Yeah.
like that. But the big thing for me, though, as you know, like I'm big into mobile photography. The camera system is exactly the same as last year's. What I think this year's generations, the Flip and Fold 3 generations do, especially with the Flip, they brought that down to $999. Whereas
Yeah,
last year it was like
it was
$14.99 or
14
like
something. Yeah,
yeah. So I think that this generation, the Samsung is trying to send the message of foldables are here and they're more attainable. Because if you take in trading in a device, and this, you can get that Flip down to like $200. I heard through
yeah.
some
No,
carriers and everything. That's awesome, especially when you think about the audience. Like they want to get everybody else, not just the tech nerds on it. So you take a device that flips open to something familiar.
right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
why I think that the Flip, when Samsung reveals their numbers and everything, and the carriers and whatnot, we're going to see more Flip sales than we will the Folds. I'm not taking anything against the Fold, but the Flip was definitely the go-to in terms of pricing, in terms of improvements, in terms of accessibility with, like I said, with pricing there at the first point. So
Yeah, yeah. I want to say thanks to Mason here. I'm almost to 200K. I've been sitting on 199 for like
for a bit,
3 months, I think. But it's
dude, I set at 5,243 forever, and I finally gained like 25 subscribers in the last couple weeks. So. Yeah, it's sometimes YouTube's weird like that. But anyway, what's your take on like this year's compared to last year's or this year? I mean, we can do a spec to spec comparison. There's not a lot of difference. But it's the pricing I think that just gets most people.
And again, I don't think the specs really matter. And even with the camera, like the S21 Ultra camera system was the best camera system I'd ever used on a Samsung phone ever. Period. And we know that a lot of times cameras have a lot to do with the software. So I'd be curious to see if the software that is out there for the Folds is improved from what we saw with last year's camera stuff.
Did you get a stylus with yours?
I did.
You did get a stylus. Okay.
Yes. So here's what happened with my order.
Uh-oh.
I ordered it, and I decided just to get a Verizon one and to trade in an iPhone and, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and it said I was going to get it on the 27th. And I'm like, oh, great. And then yesterday, and this is Sea Lions Man was talking about I guess he had some ordering issues as well. Yesterday evening at like 9:00, I get an email that says my order has been canceled. Like something in between Samsung and Verizon. Verizon was like, no, for whatever reason. I didn't even know. It didn't give me a real reason why.
Okay.
So I went back on and I reordered it a different way. I ordered an unlocked one with Samsung's financing, which is a pain in the rear end. But still, I didn't want to do that in the first place because I'd rather it just be, on my Verizon account. But I figured this is the way that I'll get it done. Now I'm not getting it until September 3rd, according to the thing. And I wanted to call them today and be like, hey, I was on your website. I had to do it like 5 different times, but I finally ordered this thing day one. And now some technical whatever is happening has gotten rid of my order. I have to reorder, and I can't get it now on, for 5 more days or whatever from when I don't know originally wanted to get it.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but Jason Alt-Dad Tech had, I believe he had similar issues with the Samsung website. I don't know if it was like you said, going through a carrier or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. So just really frustrating because I have not been a proponent of the Folds in the past, right? I thought that the Fold 1 was just a complete mistake. I don't think.
Well, they sent out those review units, and then
and I don't think
people
it was
broke
ready
them.
I don't think it was ready for prime time, even after taking back the review units and putting the sticker on it and all that other stuff. I just don't think it was ready for prime time.
Well,
and I had the Fold 2 briefly last year.
Yeah.
And liked it, but it wasn't worth the $1,800 that I had to pay for it. Right.
Okay.
And this was later after the release. I got it months after the release. So I think I traded something for it, but still.
Yeah.
But I just it still didn't feel quite ready, And so now the things that I wanted to see in the Fold are starting to happen. Waterproofing was one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're going to spend that kind of money on a phone that could die because you get a grain of sand inside.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know it's not dust resistant, but still, it's got to be better than it was. Like, you know, Zach from Jerry Rig Everything. You know,
He poured the sand in there.
Yeah, that was crazy. That, like, they should never sell a phone that can happen to, right?
Well, okay, I'm not going to give them any passes, but let's look at this from a different lens. In 3 years, we've brought foldables with these improvements and these features in it, including the under display camera. Say what you will about it, and the waterproofing and accessibility with price. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. And if anybody's going to pull it off, it's going to be Samsung, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, on one hand, yes, they've come a long way in a couple of years, and that's great.
Yeah,
but they used us. They used the consumers who bought the phones as like here, pay us $2,000 for this beta test unit.
But hold on, doesn't every manufacturer technically do that? I mean, Google's definitely, for example, scanning the Twitters and the Instagrams for people complaining about this and that, and taking down those notes to whatever they're going to do with the 6A, whether they keep the same sort of form factor. Apple does the same thing. That's how they decided to come up with, I mean, based on feedback and this and that, to come up with the Mini, right? So, but I understand what you're saying. I think no matter what Samsung did, there was going to be problems, obviously, with the first generation. But again, we saw improvements with the second, and now we've seen, maybe not a leap in specs. Like there's a leap in specs, obviously, between the first Fold and Flip and the third. The second, when you go from second to third, there isn't. But what the best part is, like I said before, is that price point and everything. So I understand where you're coming from, but just like think about it, 3 years, like what's been done, pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, and I'm glad that they've like, I'm glad that they've made this headway. Like the S Pen was the I didn't think would happen thing that happened, that ultimately made me want to buy it. I mean, it's the S Pen with the Fold and the lack of a Note this year makes me want to have the Fold 3, right? So that's like, that's kind of what brought me to wanting to buy it, as opposed to like, I'll buy it because, I'm curious. I want it to be good. I want to buy it. I want to use it, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm hoping that with the S Pen, it can be more, I don't know if I could say more than the Note, but I want it to be somehow transitional, right? Somehow like it's going to make me not miss the Note. And the thing is, like, when it was $2,000, it wasn't for the masses. When it was $1,700, still not for the masses. It's $1,500 now. However, as you said, once you start using those Samsung discounts, and I guess we just have to approach Samsung pricing with discounts in mind now.
Yeah, they I'm glad they make it accessible. I mean, you could trade in multiple devices, this and that. You could do payment. I mean, they're making it, accessibility is good.
Yeah,
be it a cheaper device, a value device, budget device, what do you want to call it? Or it could be, trade in X amount of devices and payments and this and that and get it in your hands. I mean, they just want to get the technology in people's hands. Right?
We got a super chat from Khalil. Thank you, Khalil.
Hey, there it is.
$9.99 super chat. And yes, we've heard ever since January that they're skipping the Note this year and they're bringing it back next year.
Yeah.
But I still think that if the Fold comes out, does well sales-wise, or at least like competitively with the Note, right? Because the Note's not a big seller. It's not Samsung's major money maker, right?
I think it's a big seller for like tech nerds and the business, but in general, like I told you, I know guys that run Telus and Bell Rogers stores, and they, for example, when it comes to Samsung, they couldn't keep the S20 and the S20 FE in stock last year, and even up to now, they're still selling tons of FEs, and the A52 and everything else in between there. So there's the mid-range market is still, I don't want to say bread and butter, but it's a huge chunk.
Which I think it always will be, and I'm really happy that there are much better phones in that market now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the reason I titled Samsung Risks It All on Folds is that this year, other than so let's just take the A series and down, take those out of the equation. Just talk about what Samsung does with their flagship phones every year.
So flagship would be the S series at the start of the year, and then Note at the end of the year is what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So this year, and for the past couple of years, the folds kind of mixed in there, and it kind of messed up the mojo a little bit, because it didn't feel like the fold was ready for prime time, and yet I feel like it made people unsure of what they should be buying, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the Note over the past couple of generations has gone from being Samsung's flagship, this is everything that we can do phone, all the bells and whistles, everything that you could do. The S phone was kind of this was before the mid-range phones really could compete with the features of a flagship, right? The S phones had always been kind of like, these are for the other people, the Note is for the serious people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And starting with the Note 10 and the Note 10 as well as the Note 10 Plus, but starting with the Note 10 and then the Note 20, those sort of watered down versions of the Notes, and I think I started to see the writing on the wall for the Note series. Samsung was basically releasing like the S series early in the year, and then like an S series with an S Pen later in the year. And to me, that, being a fan of the Note for so long, I didn't like to see that line watered down. But I think what we're going to see at this point, and this is Samsung saying, we believe in folding phones. We believe that folding phones are something that people will buy. We believe that folding phones have a major place in our lineup. They're not just a niche thing. They're going to be a major part of our flagship lineup. And this is us sort of putting our money where our mouth is, literally.
So Khalil suggested an article. I know he sent it to me last week. DJ Co, Samsung's CEO, said, "It's not that we do not release new products. The timing may very well be next year, but we're preparing to continue to do so." The article continues on here. It's from Tech Radar, which is usually pretty good. He says here, Note series is positioned as a high-end model in our business portfolio. It could be a burden to unveil 2 flagship models in a year, so it might be difficult to release the Note in 2H. I'm not sure what he means by 2H. But anyway, the article continues here. The company's CEO suggested as much in the same comment, saying, "The disparity between supply parts and the demand in the information technology IT side is severe." So I think Samsung had to say, okay, listen, we can do one or the other because of supply. And I think this is the right gamble because of the slash. And I mean, if you want a pen with your fold, cool. By the way, the pen can only be used on the inside, cannot be used on the outside.
Right. Yeah.
And as long as they keep on still pumping out those mid ranges, like I said, hopefully an S21 FE refresh, because again, it was such a great disruptor last year. I'm okay with this. I mean, because we've seen the same thing with other manufacturers, right?
I still think that the FE last year was a makeup game.
Oh, if anybody could, well, because remember they came out with the S20 series and it was right. It was right at the moment that the pandemic hit. Yeah, and everybody's like, "Are you insane with these prices?" And then there was some problems with them here and there. Unfortunately, some of the regular stuff you see, like with shutter delay and things like that with the Samsung phones. And if anybody's going to make up for that, it's going to be Samsung, and they were able to do that. And I think they saw a real opportunity, because what have we seen at the end of the year every year in Q4 from Samsung? It's usually a Note and other high-end things. We've never typically seen kind of mid-range stuff kind of thrown at everybody, saying check out this mid-range, check out, right? So
Yeah.
they did the FE. So I guess
I
we'll see
think
what
that
happens.
the last time they did an FE was the Note 7 FE, right?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
Note 7 FE was a do-over for the Note 7, right? So, I mean, they don't want to call it the S20 DO. So, you know, so they call it the fan edition. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, so that's why I think they got the S series right this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they priced them right. They spread them out effectively.
I like my S21 Plus. It's awesome.
So I think that, the only one that I would have bought was the Ultra, but the Ultra wasn't, what was it, like $1,500?
It was, yeah.
It was crazy. The Ultra, the S20 Ultra, the S21 was like 13, I think. And so that's a better price. But this is all relative. That's not a great price for anything. But
Yeah.
for maybe for an engagement ring. But
and let's be realistic. The majority of consumers out there are not paying full price. Like they're signing a tab or whatever it is with their provider, and then they're paying $60. They're paying like $40 or $50 a month for the plan, and then $40 for the phone. They're financing the phone basically, right?
Yeah.
Or they're trading in and getting that knocked down even further, right? Yeah.
So Frank says they need to put a slot for the S Pen in the S series, and I would have thought so before I got the S Pen and with the case that went with it. With the S21 Ultra. The best thing about the S Pen for the S series was it was almost regular pen sized. It was like 2/3 the size of a pen instead of a little stick with a nib on the end, right? And so for me, if I'm getting a much bigger pen that's easier to use and sits in that slot, like it was like butter every time. There was no fear of it dropping out or anything like that. That case was perfect. It was silicone. It was a great feeling case, and that pen slipped right in there. It made it a little wider, but I'm willing to take that. So if we can get the S Pen with the Fold 3 and it be the same kind of deal, all of a sudden, not only do you have a foldable phone that is tablet sized, but you have something that's at least on some level competitive with the iPad and the Apple Pencil, right?
Yep.
And it's not going to be one-to-one kind of comparison, but it is Samsung getting closer to that goal that I think they had with the Note, which is a business device. And I forgot to say that Sea Lions Man said that the Fold will have DeX, the Flip will not. So I think
that might go back to who they're trying to cater to the devices for. Again, the Flip at its current pricing at $999, the Flip 3, like I said, you've got this nice compact clamshell, and then it opens up to something familiar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing that, see, at this point, and this is what I wanted to say about the Flip. There's no reason, like, nobody can use price as an excuse. If they've bought an iPhone or if they've bought an S device in the past, then $1,000 for the Flip is a no barrier to entry price, right? So now, whether or not people buy it is going to land solely on the shoulders of whether or not people want a phone that has that form factor.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense.
And that's what I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see if people want a phone that has that form factor. I haven't actually held one in my hand, but my fear is that folded over like that, it's going to be thick, and it's going to be uncomfortable to carry. I think people are used to slipping a slab phone into their front pocket of their jeans or whatever, and this is going to be like a step backwards toward the flip phones of old.
I know that you don't wear skinny jeans, thank God.
Oh,
So I mean,
there was a
is that
time.
is that a flip in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me?
Oh yeah.
Thank you, thank you. So that's what's going to be interesting to me is people are going to choose this phone based on the merits of the phone, as opposed to
Yeah.
oh, I can't buy that because it's too expensive. And even the Fold, like with discounts and stuff like that, you're able to get the Fold for like $800.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard that some people were getting it down to like 600
yeah.
with trading in like multiple devices.
I mean,
So
we
if you're
have to
if so,
remember.
yeah,
We have to remember, and I made a video about this a couple of years ago, but maybe I should make a little reminder.
you should.
Even if you're trading in your phone, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Even if you're trading in your phone, you're still spending the money, right? Because you've already sunk money into owning that other phone. So that phone has value and you're giving it up, which means you're
Cucumber.
spending that money, right?
Yep.
You're spending that money. It is a good deal in terms of what you have to take out of your pocket
Yep.
to get the new phone. But basically, Samsung is playing a shell game with the money, right? They're moving the money around so that it looks like they're selling phones at full price, but really they're just selling them for half price, and so they're keeping their sales numbers up, but they're not necessarily charging what it looks like they're charging.
Yeah.
So they can go to their shareholders and say, "Hey, we sold X number of phones last year." They just don't have to say they were $12.99 phones that we sold for $6.99, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and Apple does it the opposite way. Apple does it the total opposite way. They say, "Here's the price of the phone," and you go buy it, and so it's just a total difference.
So I want to switch topics because I think we've kind of beaten this to death. I'm looking forward to when you get your Fold. In fact, I don't think I'll watch anybody else's unboxing or anything until you get yours because I like you, Jason. But I want to talk about the other.
Thank you.
So Samsung risks it all on Folds. Pixel ascends. Dolby Atmos audio. Let's talk about that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I know what Dolby Atmos audio is, but let's talk about that.
Okay, so
What do you want to talk about?
I filmed a video today. Actually wrote a script and the whole deal.
No way.
Which I hadn't written a script for a while. But there's still a lot of confusion, and the video is not necessarily about this, but there's still a lot of confusion between spatial audio, Dolby Atmos, and how it all works together with Apple Music, right?
Okay.
So Dolby Atmos audio isn't spatial audio. Spatial audio is another feature layered on top of Dolby Atmos audio. And spatial audio is only available in AirPods Pro, Max, and I forget which. I don't think it's the Beats. I don't think it's the most recent Beats. Some Beats models have the positional stuff that you can do, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's really spatial audio only exists in those headphones. And what spatial audio is basically like, okay, I'm looking at the TV, I'm watching The Mandalorian, right?
Okay.
And it sounds like there's something happening over here to my right. And if I turn my head to the right, it will
Then
stay
it's like
there.
in front of you.
It will stay where it is, and my head will meet it, right?
So yeah,
So
so
that-
it feels like in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
that works great with video content because you have a visual focal point that you can be, like your body is facing that way and then it turns that way. Spatial audio with music is different because at least the way that music has always worked is there is a sound stage that is set up in front of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dolby Atmos audio sort of takes that sound stage and sort of expands it in all directions. But spatial audio just means that if you're wearing AirPods Max, you turn your head, and instead of the singer singing right at your face, the singer's like singing in your right ear, which is weird.
Okay.
Look, we got Mr. Viper. Mr. Viper.
There it is. Oh, he comes in with a flamethrower. Light and
He's just burning it up. Good to see you, man.
Need a flamethrower sound.
So I'm kind of doing my long-term review of spatial audio / Dolby Atmos audio.
Okay.
Spatial audio sucks for music.
Don't tell Jonathan Morrison that.
For music, spatial audio sucks. Now, you have to understand that what I'm saying is wah. That's the reaction cam. You have to understand that what I'm saying is,
Jonathan, you hear this?
spatial audio is just that whole thing where, like, if you turn your head, like,
Yeah.
the sound is like all of a sudden the singer's in your right ear
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Dolby Atmos audio, though, can be really cool. Like the example I use in the video is Norah Jones' "Come Away With Me" record. The entire record is like completely transformed
Sorry, I don't know.
sonically by Dolby Atmos audio, not spatial audio, because spatial audio.
Can you do something from Sting? Like not Norah Jones. Can you do Sting?
I'm
just saying anything's better than Norah Jones.
I love that record.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
All right.
And it's also a record that I use quite often to test headphones, to test speakers, that kind of thing.
Like a record, like vinyl?
Well, I don't have it on vinyl, but yeah, anything that is a collection of songs that would equal a long playing record, I call a record.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's MP3s or lossless files or a CD or whatever.
What
Call
about
it a
like
record.
some like Nirvana? I know you like Nirvana.
Well, okay. Interesting that you bring up Nirvana. Now, I don't know if Nirvana has gotten the Dolby Atmos treatment yet, but one of the new spatial audio releases now, and again, I'm saying spatial audio is something else that you can only get on certain Apple devices. So most of what I'm talking about is Dolby Atmos.
Okay.
The Dolby Atmos mix of the Stone Temple Pilots record, Tiny Music, Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, sucks.
I like that album.
I mean, I like that album a lot. But here's what I found, because also just last week, George Harrison's All Things Must Pass 50th anniversary edition came out with new mixes, including a Dolby Atmos mix.
Okay,
right?
Hold on, Mason Deeprew, get out with that Nickelback crap. Get out here. Go.
Hey, Mason's new. We can.
I know.
We can let the Nickelback slide for now.
No, as a Canadian, I have to apologize for Nickelback, but I also apologize for Celine Dion, Justin Bieber, and Bryan Adams. Sorry, America. Go on.
Anyway,
sorry.
Both the Stone Temple Pilots record and the George Harrison record. Now, All Things Must Pass is arguably. Now, I'm not saying this is my opinion, but arguably the best of all the Beatles solo records. Great songs on there. I might on my other on my new music channel, I might do a review of this 50th anniversary and talk about All Things Must Pass and what it means and what it meant in context at that time, et cetera, et cetera. But
and we know you're being objective because it's not like you have a Beatles tattoo on your body.
No, not at all.
Go on.
So the Dolby Atmos mixes. Whereas, like, Stone Temple Pilots, like, what I loved about the sound of their records is that they were very, like, upfront and in your face. Yeah. And so I did this test today where I went to the settings where you have to go into the iPhone or iPad settings and switch Atmos on or off, right?
Okay.
So when I went in and I switched Atmos off for the Stone Temple Pilots record, it went from being kind of, like, diffuse and just, like, kind of floating around my head, but nothing was really had any kind of like oomph to it.
Okay.
To being what I expected it to be, what it was intended to be, which is like a loud, aggressive rock record, right?
Okay.
So Dolby Atmos for that sucks, or at least the way that it was mixed by the person that mixed it for Dolby Atmos didn't do the job. But then again, that record was not intended to be mixed in like 360 degrees. So
don't they literally just like take it and like stuff it through a machine to do it? And
no,
or is it manually done?
There is software,
okay,
where you can go in and Like it's basically a room. Like the software gives you like the visual of a room, and you can take tracks and put them like in different places all over the room. So I need to learn more about how that works. I just saw a demonstration of it when somebody was talking about mixing for Atmos.
Okay. Okay.
The George Harrison record didn't sound all that. It had the same thing. Like the Atmos track was quieter, and it wasn't as powerful. And so I found that didn't work all that well at all. Classical music worked well. Some jazz worked well. And so my feeling about Atmos right now, 3 or 4 months into this Atmos experience, is that some stuff can sound amazing, right? Some stuff can be totally transformed. The pop and more modern stuff that I heard, like really works because the audio engineers know that this is a possibility, right?
I would like to hear like an Atmos and then a spatial audio version of like the live. I know there's several out there, but there's a really good live recording of Hotel California. It starts out with the bongo drums. I think you know which one I'm talking about, right? It's like 15 minutes long. It's amazing. And also Guns N' Roses has an amazing live version of November Rain. That's like all piano at the start. Oh,
see, these are two songs that I if I never heard them again, I would be happy.
Really?
I would be so happy if I never heard either of those songs.
You don't like
again.
November Rain?
No.
Wow. Kids, get out there. Listen to some November Rain. Get out there.
Man, so November Rain is to Guns N' Roses what Elton John is to later period Elton John.
You're killing, man. You're killing me.
So I can't stomach any Guns N' Roses past Appetite for Destruction. Appetite for Destruction, a total fucking masterpiece.
Okay.
Use Your Illusion should have been called I Am in My Illusion.
I mean,
because I think Axl Rose crawled way into his asshole, crawled way up in there, and then never ever came out again. Never came out again.
Wow.
So the guitar solo in November Rain is an epic guitar solo, yes. But I mean, epic guitar solo in an overblown, crappy song that is, about as schlock. Like, that's as bad as Bryan Adams. November Rain is as bad as Bryan Adams at his most. I can't believe
you put those two together.
At Bryan Adams' most schlocky, ballady, movie soundtracky version. That's how bad November Rain is. Anyway, I'm
looking forward to your video. I'm looking forward to this comparison, like you're saying.
So Dolby Atmos has potential.
Okay, cool.
But I have to say, I still think that the biggest thing about Apple Music and their switch over.
Everything I do.
Yeah, exactly. That one. The one, it was from Robin Hood.
I do.
Prince of Thieves.
Yeah. Do you know that movie? You know the things that ticks me off of that movie? Watch it. And
one thing?
There's lots of things. Kevin Costner loses his accent like halfway through and then it comes back. Christian Slater was in that. He was actually pretty good in that. I thought he was pretty good.
Christian Slater's a good actor. I mean,
if you're going to watch a Christian Slater movie, it's got a bunch of other guys from Entourage and everything. Very Bad Things. You ever seen that one where they go to Vegas and they kill a dancer by accident?
I think I did see that many years ago.
So this is a good transition. Let's do some Q&A here. But when are you gonna release? Okay, first of all, when are you gonna release that video?
I hope to release it tomorrow. I finished filming it this afternoon. Nice. I put it into Final Cut. I just have to do the edits and stuff.
Cool. So everybody look for that video. And I think this could be a very interesting debate. If you you should ask Jonathan Morrison when he's doing one of these evenings. Bring him on. See if because he's done some cool stuff there with Wolf and everything, with the spatial audio and the HDR stuff and everything.
I don't disagree that it can be cool. But I think that in the early going, especially as we transition older records over to this newer format, it's going to be very hit and miss.
Yeah, it should be
And
interesting.
it's the same thing as like, CDs were great. But when they first started coming out with CDs, they did not know how to master for digital.
No.
So they were just taking the masters from vinyl and putting them into the digital format, and that's kind of what we've got with Dolby right now.
And then once they figure out how to do that properly, they started stamping the CDs with like digital or whatever, right?
Yeah,
it was the right way.
Yeah, it's like AAD or ADD or AAA or DDD but whatever.
And it wasn't really adopted by the masses until that kind of started happening, if I recall.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, CDs were always going to be the next format. I mean, because cassettes were convenient but shitty. And
I've got a cassette player around here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, cassettes had their own charm, but they were not the most high fidelity version of audio that you could possibly get. Nice. I went on eBay trying to buy the original version.
I was looking for this.
Is it Use Your Illusion 1?
No, it's Chris Shepard, Groove Station 4. Chris Shepard.
I don't even know who that is.
Canadian DJ. Yeah, on here, Puff Daddy and the Family, been around the world. Real McCoy, one more time. Joe, the Love Scene, the Click, Don't Go. Yeah, I used to jam out to this all the time. Love Inc. We got Mace on here. Remember Mace? He's like a priest now. He's a priest now or something like that. Yeah. NSYNC, I Want You Back.
Uh-huh.
And kids, listen to this. Listen to this sound.
Oh, yeah.
Memories? Right? Okay.
Memories.
And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is a real Walkman.
I went on eBay to try and find the original Walkman that I had. So I had it was from 1990, I think, and it was pink.
Pink.
And my grandparents ordered it for me from Sears for Christmas, and it was supposed
the Sears
to be
catalog.
It was supposed to be a different color. It came. I opened it on Christmas Day. It was pink, and you know how. Like they're like, oh, we could send it back, but back then, there was no Amazon.
No,
it's like sending it back meant you weren't going to have another one for like 3 weeks. So I was just like, well, I want to listen to it over Christmas break. I've been waiting for this, so I decided to keep it. Right. So I went looking on eBay to try and find this pink model. I couldn't find any for sale. I could find other versions like white and other versions.
Did you find the classic sports yellow one? Those have to be out there. That was the one that everybody had.
They are.
Yeah.
They are for sure. And this one is like kind of a contemporary of that, but it didn't have the waterproofing or any of that stuff. But I found other auctions selling this Walkman, the pink one, for like $250. And
That's
I was
a lot.
like, I'm like, no. Like the white one costs like $60.
Yeah.
Why do I have to pay $250? So I also found the original like Fisher like sort of all-in-one stereo thing that I got when I was in junior high school. It had a record player on top and a cassette and like the radio and then the cassette player all in a stack.
You had that all-in-one thing too? So did I.
Yeah, with like two speakers that came off the sides and you could remove them. I found that. I found that without the speakers for like $50. So
really, wow,
yeah. So I've been thinking about going back and like doing a little retro, my tiptoe through the tulips of my retro music past kind of thing, because some of that stuff was really cool, and it occurs to me that there's a lot of people out there who have no idea.
I've been trying to find like this exact model on eBay here and there. I check every couple of months because the clip on the back here, like this is my wife's. She lost it, but other than that, this thing works perfectly. It still works perfectly.
That one looks like a slightly newer model than the one that I had.
I don't know
like
what year she got it.
Mid-90s maybe or something.
I used to have the yellow one, and then I think I lost it. I went swimming or something like that, and I think it went swimming too, so I can't remember. But I'm always looking I'm looking through the prices here. People are selling Walkmans on eBay Canada from anywhere from $30 to $2,000, depending on what model it is. The classic yellow sports one, $30 Canadian,
Yeah.
and it says
Yeah.
working. It has return available. Like here's someone that's selling their Walkman and all of their this might actually be on my model. And like 30 tapes with it. This one has the megabit. Oh, this is my model. Can I buy just the clip from you? Oh, it has the clip. Oh, this is the model. I found it. Sorry,
See?
go on.
See how exciting that is? So Michael Pepper says, Macintosh sued Apple years ago because of the Macintosh. That's why they went on just calling it the Mac. I remember that happening. Oh, and then Mia Boca talking about the Zune. Man, I loved the Zune. The Zune was so fantastic. Did you know that the Zune was the first device that offered monthly subscriptions?
I did not know about that. I got my music from Napster.
Oh. It wasn't streaming yet. I think it became streaming eventually, but it wasn't streaming yet. But you could pay like $20 a month and download X number of albums to put on your Zune. And that was the first that was the first like subscription service. Like if you didn't pay it, then you lost your access to it. But I loved the Zune. That baby shit brown and green one was so amazing. I mean, it's just so unbelievably cool. I was so impressed that Microsoft would make a product that was baby shit green and brown. It was unbelievable. And now Samsung, they've come along and they've made a snot colored pair of earbuds.
What, are you talking about the Galaxy Buds 2 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
The new ones?
The green ones are snot colored. So it's going to, like I could stick them in my nose and look like I've got snot coming out of my nose.
What kind of snot? If you have green snot, something's wrong with you.
No. Snot is usually like, I guess if you have like a cold or, something like that, if you have like really thick, mucusy snot.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
then it does have a green hue to it. And Khalil is right. I would take the green snot color over Mystic Bronze any day of the week because Mystic Bronze was ugly as crap.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Zune was amazing. Snazzy Labs Quinn made a really great Zune video, which pissed me off because I wanted to make a Zune video. But anyway,
you can make one. You'll end up beside him with the recommended.
Yeah, but he's like all fancy and shit.
Just do it. You'll end up the recommended. Anyway, hey,
you know who I've been watching? Speaking of this stuff, the videos are a little too long, so I don't watch all that often. But Techmoan.
Techmoan?
All one word. Techmoan. M-O-A-N.
Moan?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes videos on like retro audio stuff.
Ah, cool.
And a lot of it is really, really cool. But his videos are like 30 plus minutes long. And I sometimes, every once in a while, I can do a 30-minute long video. But anywhere beyond 20 minutes is like, I have to be ready to commit. Right?
All right. I get it. It's, me, it's like I'm a 9 to 12 minute person, but it's got to be something I'm like really into if it's gonna go over that. Okay, so we have about 7 minutes left in the show here.
Yes, we do.
Thank you for everybody for watching. Thank you for the people that switched over to the Painfully Honest live channel and subscribing and liking. Make sure you're liking.
Thank you to Khalil for the super chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Remember that it was Khalil because he's the only one who sent one.
Let's wrap this up with like what do you recommend to watch?
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. What are you watching?
Well, new stuff. I have to say, I've been looking forward to the What If series on Disney Plus.
They're good. Have you watched them yet?
Yeah.
They're really good. Like the animation aside, everything. The animation is really good too. But like the stories are really well done.
Yeah, and I really like. I loved the What If comic when I was a
Yeah.
kid. So
Yeah.
so there's that. I haven't watched Ted Lasso yet. I usually with Apple TV shows, because they dribbled them out week after week.
Mhm.
I usually wait until they're all out and then I watch them, because like I watched Ted Lasso in like 2 days last year.
The morning show is coming back September
know.
17th. So here I was thinking, oh, I'll keep Apple and then I'll cancel it after Ted Lasso, and then they bring in the morning show.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's their plan. But yeah, I watched that. Let me see. Oh man, what else was I watching? There was something I've been watching. Something. Oh, Fargo, the TV series.
Okay, that's filmed here.
Yeah.
It's filmed here in
Yeah.
Calgary and around Calgary and everything like that. Yeah.
So I just got done watching. I'd watched season 1 a long time ago, and I just got done watching season 2, which has Jesse Plemons, who was in Breaking Bad.
Yep.
It has Dan, I forget his last name, the guy who played Night Owl in the Watchmen movie, and also is in the Conjuring movies.
Yep.
Kirsten Dunst,
I like her.
is in there. She's actually really good. I mean, I think she's a very good actress. You know, she'll always be known for that Spider-Man kiss. But
I like that Spider-Man kiss.
yeah,
I want to
But
show
yeah.
you this. Speaking of TV and movies and everything, I went here on. So remember the Superman 1978 movie?
yep,
Christopher Reeve. Remember how like the first half hour, 45 minutes is like young Clark Kent and everything. He's running along the road and he goes up to the farm and everything like that. All those scenes were all filmed around Southern Alberta. The funeral scene, the scene at the barn, everything. It's outside of a town called Blackie, about 48 minutes south of where I live, south of Calgary.
right.
So it's private property. I didn't go on it, even though there are pictures online of people that went straight up to the house. It's nobody lives in the house or uses the barn anymore. It's used all for farming nowadays. But I took that out there with the A52 to take pictures of it, and I'll just show you, here's opposite. But anyway, here's a reminder. This is him walking up, and he's like showing off a bit there, son. Remember he finishes running against the train and everything. I've always wanted to go out there because like a lot of scenes in Superman 1, 2, and 3 were filmed around and in Calgary. You can see a lot of landmarks and everything like that. So we're actually going to be heading down to what was the high school, which is still a working school today, down in town called Barron's. We're gonna head down there this weekend. But anyway, you can see like the barn is ready to fall over. You can't see, but the other building is in behind these bushes here. Here's the house and everything, and so that was fun. And the reason I got inspired by this last week is because Superman's 1, 2, 3, and 4, Quest for Peace, horrible movie, were all on the movie channels this past weekend. And I said to my son, I said, "Oh, when the Samsung comes in, let's go for a drive." And it was perfect. It was along a dirt road. So here's the dirt road right here, and if you line it up properly, that road was right about here, like going up. Of course, it's all like that was done back in '78, right? But it was really wild seeing that because it was like, for me, it was like the very first superhero movie I ever saw, right? And I always see like I always see like the Calgary Tower, I always see like the King Louis and everything like that. That's the place where Superman got drunk and everything. Then we walked out, and he's like, "Superman, you can hear me." And he flies off and he goes to the metal place there, and he fights himself basically. It's like an inner fight kind of thing. As he flies off, you can see the Calgary Tower there, but that hotel, that bar still exists. It's still there, but it's built around like all modernized now and everything. So that was really cool. As for shows, Ted Lasso we've been watching, and my wife watches a show called FBI.
Oh,
It's just FBI, and it's pretty cool, and that's it. But I've been going through like every single other channel because we got fiber last week. Fiber, 940 up, 940 down. Yeah.
So man, when you get that high speed internet, like it's really great. Like after a while, you kind of don't even think about it. You're just like, hey, I don't even think about the fact that like my wife is out there watching TV right now, and I'm doing this live stream. Yeah, it did. But anyway, yeah, the jump the shark moment in those Superman movies. I think this was Superman 3 when Lois Lane dies and he flies backwards around the earth.
That's the first movie.
No, that's not the first movie.
Yes, it is.
No way.
Yeah, it is. It's the very first movie. Because Marlon Brando's character, Jor-El, tells him, "Don't interfere with, the timeline and everything like that. And he's so
I
upset.
could have
He's like,
sworn it was 2 or 3. But anyway.
no, it was the first Superman movie, 1978.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman is in the first one or the second one?
He's in technically all 3. He makes a brief appearance in the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. No, he's not in 3, but he's in 1, 2, and 4. He's in Quest for Peace because he makes that nuclear man, whatever it is. He's got the nails. Remember, he's got the nails. Quest for Peace is so bad.
I haven't seen.
It's so like you could tell they did it on a shoestring. It was such a bad budget compared to the first 2. Yeah.
I haven't seen those movies for so long. But
the first 2 movies were actually filmed together as one movie. And if you have a chance, watch the Richard Donner version, or sometimes called the special version. It's got extended scenes and everything like that because Richard Donner, who also did the Goonies and everything like that, he was basically fired by the Salkind brothers that were the Salkind family that was running the rights and everything like that. So yeah, watch the original, like the theatrical, then watch the Richard Donner. I think you'll find the Richard Donner one to be better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the Spider-Man trailer? Gino is asking.
I did.
I did. Did you watch the leaked one, or did you watch legit last night?
I watched the real one. I didn't even do the leaked things anymore.
I saw it by accident. Scrolling, it was right there.
Yeah, I saw it. It was still being advertised yesterday on the sidebar of Twitter. I couldn't understand why, but yes, I did watch it, and I have to admit that I'm worried about the Spider-Man.
No, I'm not. Hold on, real quick. Dennis Carlson coming in from Sweden. We appreciate you, Dennis. By the way, you posted a bunch of links on a video of mine or a stream the other day. YouTube removed all it, and I can't even see them. I got the notification, so it's not me. It's YouTube. And everything. But I appreciate you. So I have no other way of getting that information to you, and you're here in the chat. So still love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Weird how YouTube does that.
Yeah. Well, that's YouTube.
Okay. So real quick, why are you worried about Spider-Man?
The whole sequence where they show him trying to cast the spell so that everybody forgets, and then Peter Parker's like, "Well, I don't want this person to forget."
I think that's
and then everything like goes off the rails. I'm kind of like, that can't be the reason.
No, I think it's cut in such a way so that we're looking this way, but this is actually happening. I got to tell you this though, if the rumors are true, and it seems like they are true. I mean, you saw Dr. Octopus coming back there from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Of course, we heard the laugh from William Dafoe's Green Goblin.
We saw the Green Goblin grenade.
Yeah, we heard the laugh. So that is William Dafoe, right? And then supposedly Jamie Kennedy is supposed to be coming back. Is it Jamie? Sorry, not Jamie Kennedy. Is it who played Electro?
Electro.
Who played Electro in the Andrew Garfield?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx apparently is supposed to be coming back. So in other words, quote unquote, Sinister Six. So I guess we'll see. Nothing's confirmed. Of course, if you believe some of the leaks and everything that are out there and things that have been confirmed, apparently we will see Tobey back and we will see Andrew. And I liked both Tobey and Andrew. I'm not a fan of our current Spider-Man. I just don't like how whiny he is and everything like that. I love Tobey and I love Andrew Garfield. There, I said it.
See, I liked Andrew Garfield. I didn't like Tobey Maguire.
You didn't like Tobey?
No, because Tobey Maguire was like 30 years old playing Peter Parker. And that to me was like, it just didn't work.
It worked for me.
Andrew Garfield was like in his early 20s, so that worked better. And Tom Holland was actually like close to high school age. And so I like him because he plays the high school thing right. Now, if you go back and read the Spider-Man comics, like from the early days, or even like the reboot Spider-Man days when Peter Parker is a high school student, he is a whiny dork. So,
okay, I think the reason I like Tobey and Andrew Garfield is because I grew up not so much reading the comics, but watching the cartoon from like the 60s, 70s. You know, that right? That's I was all over that as a kid and everything like that. And that Peter Parker already worked at the Daily Bugle, was like in his mid-20s kind of thing, right? That's why I was always kind of attracted to those ones.
Yeah, see, Tobey Maguire, like, I don't know of an actor with a more punchable face.
Oh, come on. Tobey's cool.
I'm actually, he's not cool. Have you ever heard the rumor? Like he used to go to this like high priced poker game in L.A. This woman was like the host of this high priced poker game, and he would do things.
I don't watch Entertainment Tonight, dude. Sorry,
No,
I don't watch.
no,
I don't watch Extra.
He would do things like tell her. Like one time, he held up $1,000 chip that he was going to give her as a tip for hosting, which is something that you do. But he wouldn't give it to her until she like got down on her hands and knees and barked.
Okay.
And supposedly he was just very rude all the time. But
All right.
I just didn't care for him as Spider-Man. I went ahead and just went along with it, but
we gotta wrap things up. I'm starting my show in 40 minutes at 10:15 Eastern. If you want to head over to Zach Talks Tech, I'll be over there. Jason, why don't you give your little outro and we'll let these people have a break.
Yeah. And
it's been good. Are we doing this again next week?
Probably.
I've
got my new set.
I like it.
I've got my new set going on.
Are those vinyls down there by your right arm?
It's vinyl.
Vinyl? Vinyls?
Yeah.
Vinyl?
No S. There's no S.
Are those your vinyl down there? That's all your vinyl?
Yes, it is. That is my collection of vinyl. Vinyl.
All right.
It is a plural and a singular together.
We appreciate everybody that was here tonight. Honestly, between the two channels and everything, I know a lot of people here in the chat have actually messaged me and like, is Jason okay? And I'm like, he's cool. Life happens. Real life and the family stuff takes priority. So
a lot
I
of
appreciate
stuff, a lot of just having to get my head back together and take some time to just like.
I appreciate it. I know
Jason
Jason
push
does.
through all the family stuff, with my grandson and everything that's going on there. If I would, and we had a COVID scare. My daughter was positive for COVID.
But everybody's healthy now, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what counts. There you go.
Everybody was fine. Nobody got really sick. So
cool.
We're all good. But yeah,
right.
Folks, good to be back. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Nice big crowd tonight. Enjoyed having the conversation. Zach, thanks for being here with me. I will be back with a video tomorrow, most likely, unless things go crazy. But otherwise, once again, my name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This has been Painfully Honest Tech live